start in just a second here, guys. Welcome to Monday. I hope you had a blessed Easter. I really do. I got a ton of video tonight. We got some fun stuff here. Share if you can, okay? Will you do me a favor? Share if you can. Share to a group. If you'd like to do that, that'd be great. If you belong to a group, immediately share this link with a group, and let's make this audience. Let's fight Mark Zuckerberg. Show him what for. A little what for, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to share right now. Here I go. And then we're going to get this thing started. Bow. Bow. Got a new listener tonight. New viewer, I should say. Broadcast agent is what he does for a living. So hopefully he'll be impressed by this. We'll see what happens. All right. We've got one solid hour of kick-ass content right ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Right ahead.
Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Welcome to the show, guys. Again, happy Easter. I hope you had a blessed Easter. I had a beautiful ham yesterday, and I ended up not making it. My wife and I, we were just hanging out, and, we're kind of having a little hangover, not literal hangover, but a hangover from Kansas getting their asses handed to them in the NCAA tournament, and just awful. Never even in the game. I had this beautiful, I got this glorious ham, and I was going to smoke it yesterday. I got apple wood out in the smoker. I was ready. I've got my pit barrel cooker ready to rock and roll. My pit barrel cooker. Let's go ahead and show you what a pit barrel cooker is. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Had it ready to go. I was going to smoke this sucker. I just couldn't bring myself to it. I didn't feel like it. Wasn't hungry. So I'll do that later in the week. By the way, if you want to order one of these glorious cookers, they have a couple of them. That's a classic on the left there. It's 18.5 inches across. About 36 inches tall. You can slow roast meats. You can smoke meats. You can just grill. Okay, there you go. They all have the Pit Barrel Junior, which is smaller and perfect for tailgating. Okay, but if you want to order, liberty1tv.com/cooker, liberty1tv.com/cooker. The reason we do that is so we'll get credit for it for the sales. You awesome audience. All right, let me go here and check the Facebook page. See who's on. So far, ce soir. Harold is on. Johnny is on. Linda is on. Maggie. Hello, Maggie. How you doing, baby? What's going on? William Fenner, how you doing, my brother? He won a humidor for listening to this show. I give away stuff every once in a while. We're going to work on that. But anyway, welcome to the show. Real quick presidential tracking poll, if you haven't heard this, and this is actually remarkable. When you think about this, you think about the drubbing that Donald Trump takes in the media every single day by everybody. 91% of the news about the Trump administration is negative. It is negative, even though there's so much positive happening. Like over 3% growth in the fourth quarter last year. Over 3% growth in the GDP? Are you nuts? We haven't seen that in years. But that's, that's just, a news media that is armed. They are girded against Donald Trump. There is a temper tantrum in this country that is not ended because of the election of Donald Trump and the defeat of Hillary Clinton. And it continues. Despite it all, and I would love to see what the presidential approval rating would be. Could you imagine if the media treated Donald Trump like they treated Barack Obama? What is approval? His approval would be 80%. I swear to God. Right? Am I right? 100% right. But 91% of the coverage is negative, and he's got a 50% approval rating. He's got a 49 disapproval rating. Unbelievable. 33% strongly approve of the way a president is performing. 39% strongly disagree. That gives him an approval index rating of -6. It's amazing. Pardon me. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are listening on the audio podcast, this is episode number 259. 259. Glad to have you here. But that's it, guys. 15% of voters, listen to this, 15% of voters think Congress is doing a good or excellent job. I'm surprised it's that high. Most GOP voters want their party to follow Trump, not Senate Republicans. That's pretty amazing stuff. But, what are you going to do? I mean, I'm not, and it's interesting that I was having a conversation with my mother-in-law this weekend, and she vitriolically hates Donald Trump. Because she thinks he's a cad and she's an older woman. And yeah, he is. I mean, he was a playboy, slept around and, all of that stuff. And, the P word thing, that didn't resonate very well, but she's angry about it. But a lot of women are saying, so he's a D word for Richard. But, I like the policies. And that's the way I feel about it, to be quite honest. If you would, Rob Votog, good to have you joining me, man, right here in KC. PK, what's up? Tony Garcia, thank you for joining me. If you would share to a group, if you belong to a group, share right now. I would really appreciate it. Just, maybe it's a car collectors club. Maybe it's a whatever. But, I'm doing my very best to beat back Mr. Zuckerberg from killing all of these publishers like us at Liberty One TV. And we are on LibertyOneTV.com right now. LibertyOneTV.com. If you would, just go there. Have it as a favorite on your browser, bookmark it, because, there may be a point where we just have to go off of Facebook. It's bye-bye. It's bye-bye. 70% of Americans see media as fake news. That's profound. That is profound. Now, listen, Mark Zuckerberg is going after independent publishers because they say some of them are fake news. My show is not fake news. My show is, I don't lie here. I present, things through the prism of what, my beliefs. But I'm not here to mislead you or lie. I don't bite on that crap. I don't like that fake news crap. I'm not an Alex Jones guy. I look at what is in the news, and I use my common sense, and I go, okay, this is what I want to talk about, and then this is how I'm going to present it. But I'm not here to lie to you. I do not lie. When it comes to covering things, I don't make crap up, and I'll never do that to you. Honestly, 77% said traditional news outlets are fake news. Think about that. Donald Trump came up with the expression fake news. 77% of people in the country feel that traditional news outlets are fake news. Do you realize how gigantic that is? That is absolutely gigantic. 25% say that fake news is a story where the facts are incorrect, while 65% said it's editorial decisions made by various outlets. 31% of people believe this happens regularly. 46% say it's occasional. This is gigantic, and the reason is because they've lied to us. Because they've lied to us. That's it. Because they want us to believe that they're somehow objective, and they're not. And I tell you, there's one guy I think we can attribute a lot of this to, and it started in 1988 with a guy named Rush Limbaugh. And he was the first person to say, I know you watch Uncle Walter Cronkite, I know you watch Dan Rather, and you watch Peter Jennings and all these people, but they're lying to you. And they have a political agenda. It opened my eyes. I was a kid. By the way, I started writing for Rush Limbaugh in 1990. And a lot of the bits that you heard on Rush Limbaugh over the years, I wrote those, and I voiced a lot of them. But there they go. Yeah, just telling you. Just wanted to tell you. And you can hear all of them, a good share of them on SoundCloud.com, Rob Carson Show, SoundCloud.com. Who else is on here? Let's see. Alan and Tonita. Hello, Tonita. How you doing, girl? All right. So Sinclair Broadcast Group, their corporate, they have mandated that anchors say things about fake news, expose fake news, and a lot of the anchors are really ticked off about it. They are really, really mad about it because they're getting a script from management that says, you as a TV journalist, you have to go on and read this script about fake news. And so somebody put together a montage this weekend. Here is the montage of anchors at Sinclair Broadcast TV stations having to echo the company philosophy.
Let me move on to Sinclair for a second. There's a lot of attention around Sinclair Broadcasting and its conservative bent. This is a company that owns stations all across the country. Stelter. And last month I reported that the company was mandating its local stations to produce these media-bashing promos. There's been a lot of angst in local newsrooms about this. Now we're actually seeing the promos.
Let's also, just say that CNN, obviously, is one of the largest purveyors of fake. I mean, honestly, they are a tool. They are a tool of the left.
I want to show you what they look like. This is a compilation courtesy of Deadspin that's gone viral this weekend. Just a little taste of what these promos look like.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets are true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Okay, so there are anchors who are really ticked off about it. They don't like having to say that. I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of it either. I mean, it is the truth. But to me, I don't like that. I don't like telling someone they have to say things. But let's not forget that the media always parrots the same talking points. Years ago, 2008 election, somebody decided that Republican states were red and Democrat states were blue. And that's absolute horse crap. The Democrat Party is red. Red is socialist. Red is communist. That's what it is. And somebody came up with that, and every damn station and network decided to parrot that, and now it's suddenly orthodoxy. Now it's what you expect. Republican states are red, and that's bull crap. But everybody lined up and parroted those talking points. Here's a montage from when George Bush was president. I think this took place in the year 2000. One day the word gravitas came up, and everybody in the news media ran with it. And it happens all the time, every day if you're watching. Every day if you're watching. CNN, 2 months ago, and I told you this, all day long, one day, they talked about Donald Trump having dementia, having early signs of Alzheimer's and all this stuff. And everybody carried it, and then it just went away. If he really had dementia and early signs on Alzheimer's, and all these experts were on talking about it, don't you think he'd still have it today? It's unbelievable. It's breathtaking. Here is the media montage of gravitas.
He meets all George W.'s weaknesses, lack of gravitas.
We see the son who is seeking some gravitas.
They were looking at candidates with gravitas.
But he has the gravitas. You can sum it up in one word, stature. It may go to the gravitas.
Or to use the favorite phrase, gravitas.
This is a vice president who brought gravitas. This will give some gravitas.
This is a talking point. This doesn't just happen organically. I mean, I know I'm saying the obvious here. This isn't organic. So for news anchors to act like somehow they're immune, that how dare they have to repeat a talking point that the company makes them say. And again, I'm not a fan of the company saying this. But, I mean, come on.
Add some credibility.
I think the gravitas that Cheney brought to the ticket.
What he gets is gravitas, a sense of weight.
He does not need anybody to give him gravitas.
I guess this is when we added Cheney to the ticket in 2000.
It means that, gravitas.
I think he also needs some gravitas.
To give gravitas.
Well, he brings gravitas.
Who used the word gravitas before that? Who used the word gravitas before that? I mean, it's absurd, isn't it, right? Unbelievable. Want to say hi to Robert. Want to say hi to all you guys who are joining me. And again, if you have do me a favor, if you have a group you belong to, will you share it to that group? I would greatly appreciate it. It'd be glorious. So I wanted to share that. I think it's obscene. I think it's stupid. I don't like the fact that Sinclair was making everybody say this. As a news anchor, I don't think that's correct to do that. I don't. A few years ago, I worked at a company, and they made us, everybody, promote a brand that the company wanted to promote. Now, that's understandable. Okay, you're on the company, you work at the company's radio station, and they tell you need to promote this. Hey, you do it. I wish journalists were as credible and unbiased as they claim to be. Then this argument would be truly outrageous. But what I just played to you, they like talking points. They just don't like them, if they disagree with them. That's really what it's all about. We'll talk a little bit about the dust-up. Laura Ingraham, she took a week off. And I got to tell you, I am thoroughly disgusted with this little David Hogg. I think he's poorly. I think he was raised poorly. I think he's a sociopathic little bastard, to be quite honest. And I can say that because I don't have any clients, and nobody can boycott. I mean, if you want to boycott, whatever. But he is a sociopathic little mouthy bastard, and he has been able to say whatever he wants with impunity. And I made the comment this weekend on social media that David is like a toddler hiding behind mommy. And he'll come out and he'll say something, and then he'll get behind, Allison Camerata's apron strings. He's been able to say things unchallenged. Do you want to hear some of the things that he has said? Listen to this crap. Listen to this crap that David Hogg has said. Let me find the audio here. This is David Hogg. Some of the things, they are absurd, they are inflammatory, they are disgusting, they are foul, they are, like I said, inflammatory beyond belief, but he's not been challenged on any of it. And then whenever he is challenged, he retreats behind Allison Camerata's apron strings, and he claims that he's a child. Here is this little punk, some of the things that he's said over the last couple of weeks.
Pathetic that want to keep killing our children. They could have blood from children spattered all over their faces and they wouldn't take action because they'll still see those dollar signs.
This is spoken like a true 12-year-old, even though he's 17.
I'm going to start off by putting this price tag right here as a reminder for you guys to know how much Marco Rubio took for every student's life in Florida. $1.05.
Unchallenged.
Okay.
I mean, do you think that...
Not a big believer in corporal punishment, but this kid needed to have his ass whooped when he was a kid.
That's unnecessarily provocative?
No, I think it's not enough I don't think it's even provocative enough. When your old parents I don't know how to send an iMessage, and you're just give me the phone. So,
he calls his parents idiots there.
Sadly, that's what we have to do with our government because our parents don't know how to use a democracy, so we have to.
Our parents don't know how to use the effing democracy, so we have to. You idiot. You learned to drive last year. I doubt it, though. You took your bike to school.
Is trying to do I believe she's the CEO of the NRA. She's trying to distract people. If you listen to her talk...
It's Dana Lasher.
She's a national spokeswoman for the NRA.
Exactly. She owns these congressmen. She can get them to do things.
No, she doesn't.
It's just she doesn't care about these children's lives. It just makes me...
There you go. And this is, again, he doesn't... If you don't agree with his orthodoxy, then you have blood on your hands... you don't care about children's lives. And this little SOB is unchallenged by everyone. And I'm going to tell you, if you want to become a part of the adult intellectual elite, I guess, or you want to enter the circle of political speak, you better grow the hell up. He has not faced anyone in opposition. He has not faced anyone who's a pro-life or a pro-Second Amendment supporter. He goes on solo, or he has like-minded people doing the interviews. He's never been on Fox News. He's never been on with somebody and debated them because he retreats to the bastion of childhood when he is.
I think what sick are out there that want to continue to sell more guns, murder more children, and honestly just get reelected. What type of person are you?
Unchallenged. And what he's saying is so ungodly outrageous. It's not even worth debate. What he's saying is so egregious and outrageous, and I might even say dangerous.
When you want to see more money than children's lives.
You want more money than children's lives. So I'm an NRA member, and I would rather the NRA give money, get money from me, than to save children's lives. You little SOB.
What type of person does that? If you can't get elected without taking money from child murderers, why are you...
So the only child murderer was the guy who went into the building. The only child was Nicholas Cruz. The only person who's a child murderer is Nicholas Cruz. This is like I said, this is inflammatory. This is obscene. This is obscene, and this little bastard needs to be challenged.
Running with Rick Scott, it's like, when I get elected to Senate, we're not going to let that happen. And that's the great thing about it, because those aren't going to get reelected. When you start hearing from your political aides that there's a load of angry future voters, you start to worry a little bit.
He doesn't know anything. 2 months and a half ago, he was worried about going to prom. A month and a half ago, he was worried about, summer vacation and whether he was going to work at the amusement park. And suddenly, he's some sort of an expert on everything. I refute it. And I'm not afraid to challenge the little bastard. I know that makes me a mean, a cruel person, whatever. David, what's this guy's name? Zworich, works with the Baltimore Sun. He was on with Brian Stelter over the weekend. I don't have the video on this, but I want to share the audio on this because he really went after David Zurowicz went after Laura Ingraham. And here's the thing that really pisses me off. This little punk, Laura Ingraham went on, and she is a very, very serious Catholic. She is studied in religion, and she is a very serious, committed Catholic. Okay? She issued a heartfelt apology for her tweet about David not getting into 4 universities in California. Now, listen to this. Here's the thing. I heard Ben Shapiro over the weekend. David had a 1270 SAT, which is pretty good. The universities where he applied, he is 100 points behind the average student at those universities. He did not get entered because he's not good enough. His SAT is not strong enough. He's got a 4.1 GPA. Big effing whoop. 4.1 GPA is different school to school to school. It's nice you had a 4.1. It's nice you're getting all the, but that is objective. There is a test called the SAT. You take the damned SAT. You take the ACT. And that's the score they look at. He's not good enough. According to the SAT, he is just not good enough. Even though Allison Camerata kissed his rear end. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here's Allison Camerata last week talking about David Hogg not getting into these schools.
David, I am stunned that 4 colleges rejected you. What kind of dumbass colleges don't want you?
Well, Allison, they're not dumbass. David is the dumbass. Okay, David is the dumbass. He may be smart. He may be cute. He may be whatever. But right now, and I'm looking over here, Brian says they want 1,400 on the SAT. They want 1,400. I'm not sure what my son did, but it was good enough to get into KU, the University of Kansas. Got in there. It was good enough. I had a kid, I guess this is the ACT, right? Is this the 1,400? Because my son, he has a friend, he got in, I think he had a 34, that was the SAT, which is his college is paid for. My son's not paid for, but he's doing pretty well. But even after Laura Ingraham issued this heartfelt apology, he announced on Instagram that he tweeted. He tweeted to her some healthy reflections this Holy Week. That's just evil. I hope you have some healthy reflections this Holy Week. What an a-hole-ish thing to say. I mean, really, honestly, an a-hole-ish thing to say. And I'm going to tell you, if you enter the arena of ideas as an adult, and you want to mouth off, and you, as a 17-year-old who knew absolutely D-word for Richard about the Second Amendment 2 months ago, and you want to use your victim card, and I'm sorry for what happened to you. I'm sorry for what you witnessed, dear God in heaven, but it does not make you an expert on the Second Amendment. It does not. It does not make you an expert on the Second Amendment. But if you're going to mouth off and you're going to become a mouthpiece for a movement, then by God, you'd better be able to accept some criticism, and not hide behind the I'm a child when it's convenient. That's the problem I have with little David Hogg. Here is David Zurowicz with Brian Stelter on CNN talking about Laura Ingraham this weekend.
So why you would go after someone like that and not expect the fiercest kind of pushback that he or she can generate doesn't make sense. So in a way, look, you're talking about a high school student. He's smart enough to know what'll hurt Laura Ingraham. And by the way, you're so right. It was almost a week, April 12th, same language in the headlines, pre-planned vacation that Bill O'Reilly left last year. On the 19th, they fired him. So that's a chilling precedent.
Yeah, no, it's not. Bill O'Reilly paid $45 million to shut women up who he sexually harassed. It's completely different. I think this was a vacation that was planned. Even if it wasn't, a week off, fine. But this isn't about David Hogg. David Hogg is a puppet. He's a puppet. Here's the puppet masters. MoveOn.org, George Soros, and that's just the way it is. And you can say that's conspiratorial, but you're wrong. It is being funded by he is being pushed by a number of leftist organizations who have always hated Fox News, have always hated Donald Trump. We heard about these marches for life that took place, a week ago. They were the same people who organized Occupy, BLM, Women's March, all bought and paid for AstroTurf protests. That's what it's all about. It is. I've got the evidence. You want to bring it? You want to bring it? Come on, man. Here's a little bit more for Brian Stelter and David Zurowicz, where he really goes after Laura Ingraham. And again, you cannot let this kid perform in the arena of ideas unchallenged. It is not fair. It is not appropriate. If you are a child, then you are a child. Get your ass to your class and shut your mouth. But if you want to play with the big boys and you want to get interviewed by CNN and all this stuff, you are not immune from criticism from those who are 18 years of age and older. Sorry.
My view is let's not shut down anyone's right to speak. Let's meet their comments with more speech. Let's try to respond that way. What is your view of these ad boycotts?
Listen. Well, Brian, I agree with let's meet their speech with more speech. But in the world of commercial media, nothing is...
This guy there's a reason why he's in print media, because his voice is just, I just want to stab my eardrums out with knitting needles.
More powerful than an advertiser boycott. The first commandment is thou shalt not lose thy advertisers. So if you feel you're a high school student and somebody of her stature is taunting you on Twitter, look, there's two things about these students.
Okay, do I need to remind you what he said about Second Amendment supporters, what he said about the NRA? All of those things, and Laura Ingraham says something about him on Twitter because he can't get into a university in California because he's not smart enough.
Students at Parkland that just fascinate me. One, they have a great moral authority that most people in the media don't have, and they have it because of what they went through. Seeing classmates killed, then having to...
Yeah, okay, what about the other kids? Well, what about the other kids at the school? I've got a story. There are teachers there that say that there are kids at the school who don't like the fact that David Hogg and Michelle Garcia, or whatever the hell her name is, are representing all kids. They don't like it. They disagree with them. But nobody's paying attention to them because it's not the talking points. It's not the talking points. It's not the anti-Second Amendment talking points.
Mourn and bury their classmates and go on with their life. That's a great moral authority. They're also, especially David Hogg and some of the others, incredibly media savvy in a good way.
I don't think it's in a good way. Did you hear the way he talked? Really incredibly media savvy. Here, let's listen to him a little bit here. Here, let's listen to how media savvy this kid is.
Pathetic that want to keep killing our children. They could have blood from children spattered all over their faces and they wouldn't take action because they'll still see those dollar signs. I'm going to start off by putting...
Yeah, he's got moral authority. What about the other kids in the school? Do they have moral authority? If you go through tragedy, are you suddenly an expert on whatever? Really? You've got moral authority? Moral authority, really? I've been through a lot of crap in my life. Been through a lot of tragedy in my life. Do I have moral authority? Do I claim moral authority on a variety of issues? No. I share what I think, and if I get challenged, then I am happy to be challenged. During a Friday discussion with NRA, Dana Lash, a teacher at the school who remained anonymous, said that some students in the school feel misrepresented by students like David Hogg, Emma Gonzalez, and others who have moved to the forefront of the teen gun control movement, because the kids who are pro-Second Amendment, who are pro-fortifying schools, pro-arming teachers, are being ignored. They are being ignored. They are being excluded. Give me an effing break. Did you hear any of them at the March for Our Lives? From this teacher. I've had some students approach me privately to talk about it, but I should note that those student activists, none of them were ever in any danger during this whole thing. None of them except for the one girl, Samantha Fuentes. I have students in my class that were shot. You don't see them. They have the most personal experience of anyone except for that one girl. There have been a lot of students that have spoken to me about it privately, and they told me for word, as well as paraphrasing, these kids don't speak for all students. Every single day since we've come back to school, I have had kids in the hall crying because of the emotional toll that it's taken. And we haven't started to heal yet because we're in the news every single day, and every single day there are helicopters circling overhead. But this is what leftists do. They claim the moral high ground, which is really funny for anybody who's a leftist. Honestly. Unbelievable. There is a hashtag, I stand with Laura, going around. Some people are saying, nope, not going to do that. And I don't agree with this. They're saying you should boycott these companies. I'm not a boycotter. I'm not a boycotter. They're going to have to change that name. It's politically incorrect. What about the girl cutters? Office Depot, Liberty Mutual Insurance, TripAdvisor, Nestle, Johnson & Johnson, Hulu, Jenny Craig, Wayfair, Miracle Ear, Stitch Fix, Principal, Honda, Progressive Pay, or AG, whatever. They're all, these are groups that have removed their ad dollars from Laura Ingram's show. And this is because David Hogg and this tragedy was the wet dream of groups like MoveOn.org. It was, this is fantastic. How many kids got killed? How many people got killed? This is going to be great. And they used a what? They used an assault weapon? You think I'm kidding? There are people rubbing their hands going, oh man, this is fan-effing-tastic. This is what we've been wanting. And I know that sounds very coarse, but it is not. There are people who could give a rat's ass about body count. You know that as well as I do. You know that as well as I do. Teachers in Oklahoma and Kentucky walked out. They're on strike. They are demanding a pay raise from state leaders. 25 schools closed in Kentucky today due to a rally at the state capitol in Frankfort. 173 school districts. Same happened in Oklahoma as well, and teachers are not paid very well. I get you. Here's a little story. I believe this is from CNN.
As you said, buses starting arriving a couple of minutes ago. You have hundreds of teachers, an estimated 30,000, according to the Oklahoma Education Association, that have just started a picket line around the Capitol building here in Oklahoma, demanding not only higher wages, but also $200 million in funding for their schools, and funding that they say has been cut in the past decade.
Okay. Now, my sympathy is with teachers. Don't get me wrong. My sympathy is with teachers. There are teachers saying they've got a master's degree, they've got a doctorate and all this. They've got $170,000 worth of student loans, and they're making $36,000 teaching. If there were a magical pot of money that was available, that teachers could suddenly get 100% pay increase, I'd be like, boom, do it. I would. But unfortunately, that doesn't exist. I am grateful for what teachers do. I am. But as someone who is majoring in college, when you're in college, you have to look at, will this pay my bills? Where can I go? what is the pay scale here? What is the pay scale here? You have to do that. You have to do that. And to get into the profession and then realize you're not paid very well can't be a surprise. Now, there are other school districts that have higher pay. And there are, some school districts in some states. I know that in the state of Missouri, where I live next door, I live in Kansas. And they're not paid very well. Now, one amazing thing is my mother-in-law, who was an English teacher for years, she's got a frickin' pension, man. She's got a frickin' pension paid for by taxpayers. Okay? I'm not saying it's a ton of money. It's 60% or 70% of your salary for the rest of your life. Holy hell. 3 months off in the summer. Okay? You kind of know what you're getting into, right? I'm not meaning to be insensitive here. Not meaning to be insensitive. But you got to kind of know what you're doing. If I had to do it again with regard to radio, I don't know. I'd do something in media. I don't know if radio would be the number one choice. I don't know. And that's why I do this. That's why I branched out. And that's why I'm doing video podcasting and all that stuff. But you got to kind of know what you're getting into. And I hate to tell you this, but in the real world, you can't picket and strike and walk out and demand more money. You can't do it, really. I mean, you do it if you're part of a union. That happens occasionally, right? But in the real world, non-unionized radio, for instance, you can get all your employees together and you can march around and you can put signs up outside of the building and you can come back and they will have all your stuff packed in a milk crate and say, see ya, And again, I'm not meaning to be critical. I don't want to be critical of teachers. What they do is amazing. And if they have a magic formula to come up with money to pay them, and I got to tell you honestly, let's look at also just primary education, secondary education. These are poorly run in many states, and they are very heavy on administration, and they waste a buttload of money. I mean, I live in Kansas, okay? I live in Overland Park, Kansas, which is, the schools here are freaking amazing. There's a school called Blue Valley near here, and it's a cathedral. I mean, it's just like breathtaking. They had to, there wasn't even a budget cut. It was just, in Kansas, they decreased the rate of increase, which is what they frequently do, and then people claim, oh, you're trying to cut it, and then people are going to die, and all this stuff. Kansas schools are some of the best funded schools in the United States of America. And yes, there are schools that are not well funded, et cetera, but they are glorious. And Blue Valley schools, I remember when they cut the increase in the budget, and I said they're going to have to get rid of the helicopter pad at this school, and the kids won't get, they're going to, instead of having an espresso bar that is actually has a barista, they're going to have to use Keurig, that kind of thing. Unbelievable. Oh, here, this is the latest hypocrisy with regard to gun control. Chelsea Handler, who is just, dear God, for the person who dates her, I feel bad. She admits, even though she is a major gun control proponent, she has bodyguards. She was seen being flanked by armed guards recently. And California Laura tweeted, get rid of your armed guards, then you could talk about the middle class, to the middle class about feeling safe. Handler responded, my armed guards aren't killing children, and they don't have semi-automatic weapons. Handler is intimating that her armed protectors do not use Glock, Heckler & Koch, Kimber, Ruger, Sig Sauer, Smith & Wesson pistols, which are immediately popular for concealed carry. She's saying, listen to this, she's saying that her handlers carry revolvers. Who carries a revolver anymore? My mother's got a revolver. I went to a gun shop locally here called Frontier Justice. They barely even carry revolvers. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, what else do I got here? I got a few other things I want to get to that I think will be fun. Oh, did you hear about this Disney mom? Disney mom. Woman gets on a Disney cruise. 22-year-old mother of two. She is pregnant. Her name is Emily Jackson. They came from St. Louis. Going to go on a Disney cruise. And she and her husband and the kids flew from St. Louis to Miami to embark on a picture-perfect vacation. And the whole family went. They were ready to go. And apparently, she was booted from the cruise, even though the luggage was already on the cruise. Think about this. Because she was past 24 weeks pregnant. They do not allow that on Disney cruises, apparently. You've got to be less than 23. Now, she got a letter from her doctor. She got a note from her doctor that says, you can come on the cruise. But they booted her and her family. She's going to have to come back. Very expensive for Disney to do this. She probably has no legal recourse. But here's a little video from mom getting booted and Disney's reaction here. Kind of scary.
Threatened by Disney with an AR-15 and 2 security guards.
I was crying because it's my fault that no one else can get on. We officially found out that I cannot go on the ship 100%, so we are leaving and trying to find flights for tomorrow, and they sent out guys with AR-15s when my dad was talking to the desk about not being able to get on, and literally all he said was, can we hurry up? And they sent out AR-15 guys.
Didn't you go through like Disney school to treat customers?
You know, I went on a Disney cruise with my wife, and it was glorious. I assume that they don't want to have to deal with labor out in the open sea. They wouldn't have to, bring the ship to port, which is a very expensive proposition. If you're in the middle of the ocean and mom's having a baby, I guess I can understand that. She did have a note. Did they also not allow women who are pregnant on airplanes on certain flights after a while? I thought it was something like that. The whole AR-15 thing with a little bit much, but you have to look at Disney Cruise is an international cruise. The ships, airplanes, frequently targets of terrorism. So that's the reason why they had the guns. A little heavy-handed because mom's pregnant. Just a little heavy-handed because mom's pregnant. And that's why they're being booted off the cruise. But I guess the lesson here is that even if you get a note from your doctor, that doesn't mean anything to Disney. That doesn't mean anything to Disney. We went on a cruise a few years ago, guys, and I was very blessed to have gone. An interesting thing, on the ship above the pool, there are 2 smokestacks, okay, on the boat, on the ship. The first one is fake. Now, on the Titanic, there were 4 funnels. One of them was fake. Did you know that? Okay. Generally, one of them is fake for a variety of reasons. On Disney, the first one is fake, and there's a radio studio in it. It is so damn cool. And literally, you go up a few flights, and you are in a broadcast facility in the first smokestack looking over the pool. It is the greatest broadcast in the history of mankind. And to know you're broadcasting from the middle of the Caribbean on this fantastic ship. Oh. So I'm not going to rip on Disney about this because I'll tell you, if you got the money, and I don't have the money to do it now, but I was able to go with radio. I was able to go to Disney a number of times and go on the ship and everything. If you got the money, go. I will tell you, if you're looking for nightlife and gambling, I know. You go, they've got a couple of nightclubs at Disney on the Disney cruise ship, and there's nobody there. Because it's all families. They're all back in their staterooms, and the staterooms are glorious, and the meals are glorious. And if you got the money, go. But I'll tell you, if you want nightlife and you think you're going to go down to the club and hang out with your wife and all that, there's nobody there. I asked you this question a few minutes ago. Mexico is helping bring 1,000 migrants, up from, I think it's Honduras. And they are going to cross the border this weekend. Okay? 1,000 immigrants being helped by Mexico. You know what? I'm just sick and effing tired of Mexico. Mexico has no effing business being an affront to our border and to bring people to the border so they can claim, immigration status, asylum, essentially. And that's what's going to have to happen. And 1,000 to 1,500 people walking up here. And what they're going to do is they're going to file for asylum status, and it's going to be a giant cluster blank because our immigrations and customs authorities are going to have to review each of these family status and decide what to do about asylum, and that's what's going to happen. We had a lot of people say, what they're going to do is they're going to we need the National Guard there, and we need to, arrest them and all that. That's not the way it's going to be done, unfortunately. If I had my druthers, I'd say, okay, we've got planes here. We're flying your asses back to Honduras. But that's what they're thinking about doing. That's what they're going to do. Mostly Hondurans. They posted celebration videos on Facebook, chanted, "We are migrants. We are not criminals. We are workers." Whatever. According to an account from the Center of Immigration Studies, Mexican authorities have allowed the migrants to drive north with relative ease. So Mexico is willing to relax its own strict border policies so they can bring people here. Really, really is frustrating. Researcher Kasia Luna added that the group Pueblo Sin Fronteras, which aids immigrants, bragged about speeding into Mexico. On Monday, Pueblo Sin Fronteras, it's home without borders, posted a video with the caption of the refugee caravan knocking down borders yesterday in Huectecan, wherever the hell that is. The people celebrate this first small victory. Ridiculous. These are people who don't want to become American citizens. These are people who don't want to learn the language and assimilate. And they're being aided by Mexico. And I think it's time to kick Mexico's ass. I think it's time to say, okay, no traveling to Mexico. Let's just do and I'm serious, no tourism travel to Mexico. I think that's what the country should do. I really do. It would completely destroy Mexico's economy. They're like one of those little sucker fish on a shark. That's what they are to us. Right? I got to tell you, you're going to keep pushing us. And I've always said this about Mexico, Central and South America. Here's an idea. Make your country suck less. Okay? Rather than you're poor having to leave your country because it's a miserable place. How about adopt some United States constitutional principles and keep your people there? All right? But they don't. They like to continue to suck. And they suck. And I think it's just time to stop effing with Mexico. Just say, no more tourism, baby. You straighten this act out right now, or, sorry, your Cancun vacation will be canceled. You're going to have to go to Jamaica, or you're going to have to go to wherever. I really think they ought to do that. Oh, my God, it would wreck Mexico. One more story here. How's that sound? So the latest viral idiocy is out there. Did you hear about this? They did the cinnamon challenge there, where kids would take a teaspoon of cinnamon, I guess, and eat it and all that stuff. Well, now kids are doing this really, really stupid challenge, and it is condom snorting. You want to know what condom snorting is? Give me some likes if you'd like to see what condom snorting is all about. Go ahead. Give me some love. Show me some love, people. Show me some emojis. Show me some love. You want to know what condom snorting is all about? Kids just do stupid crap, man. God dang it. I did a hot sauce challenge a few weeks ago to get people to follow me. And it was hot. I had where is it? Oh, here it is. There it is. Reparacha. That's one of the world's hottest hot sauces. It has 225,000 Scoville units. Jalapeno has 2,500. And I took a bunch of this in my mouth. Not a good idea. Fortunately, it didn't hurt the other way. Condom snorting. You want to see what condom snorting is? This is what kids are doing. What they're doing is they're snorting a condom through their nose, getting it to come out of their roof of their mouth, and then pulling it through. What? Seriously, what the hell? Here is a doofus doing this. Oh. And some on the left want 16-year-olds to vote. Yeah. Here you go. I think he does it, actually. Hold on. I think he does it. There you go. And you pull it out through the roof of your mouth. Okay. Yeah, you look like a complete and utter effing moron. You've got a condom sticking out of your nose, you idiot. Dear God in heaven. And they want these people to vote. Jeez, guys. All right, before I go, I want to thank you. I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. If you would, please consider ordering a pit barrel cooker. I've got two of them. I've got the classic. I've got the junior. They are built beautifully. Noah Glanville and his wife, Amber. He's a veteran. And he and his wife built this company. They started in a garage, then a Quonset hut, and now they're building these things, and they are glorious. If you want to order one and the accessories, liberty1tv.com/cooker. Father's Day will be coming up, guys. Summer grilling season. You see that brisket on the bottom? I did that. See those butts on the left up there? I did that. Ribby Roos on the right there. St. Louis style spare ribs. You can not only grill, you can smoke, you can slow roast. Oh, my God, they're glorious. Also, I have a line of politically incorrect garb. There are some of the designs. You've got your uranium one, making Russia great again, with the drunk Hillary in the middle there. Keep calm, carrying one. Veganism is an eating disorder. I don't know if you knew that. It really is. Adorable, deplorable. You can put that on a onesie or a T-shirt or a girl's tee. All of that stuff. tpublic.com. Just look up conservatees. They're all my designs. And my friend Sam Cangelosi, who is a genius. He is a genius. And they're all available there. T-shirts, sometimes they have these sales where they're only $14 for the T-shirt. And you know what? It would be a blessing if you'd order something, because I'm trying to keep the lights on. All right. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I'm off to Twitch. That's next, twitch.com/Rob Carson Show, where I do a second show. And it is less political, but always a lot of fun. Twitch.com, Rob Carson Show. In the meantime, have a glorious evening. God bless you. And I'll see you again tomorrow night.
Listening to the Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram. I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.